Okay. Okay. So last week we ended the session by discussing the keys. So we have several keys. While loading the data into the Fusion applications, we can categorize we can uniquely identify the record in the Fusion application using multiple keys. In other way, while loading the data into the Fusion application, Fusion has mandated that we have to provide few columns which are really necessary to identify that record to be loaded into the Fusion application, and also to load the data for that respective business object into the Fusion application. Loading means it may be inserting or updating. So okay, it looks like it went into the other session. Right. So we have learned several keys in the last session. So the first one is Vision GUID, that is a global unique identifier. So this global unique identifier will be created for every record that we create in the Fusion applications. That can be any record across any module. Will be created. We'll be having a unique identifier record, a unit identifier, and that will be stored in the HRC key integration or HRC integration key map table. That table will have the unique identifier for each and every item that is coming inside the Fusion application from any source. Okay, and not only that, this Fusion GUID will be created even if someone go ahead and create a record in the Fusion applications. Maybe from the application screen itself, that record will have the Fusion GUID created in the HRC integration key map table, right? That is a GUID. And we have, and whenever we send any file, any data to the Fusion applications, then Fusion will look for the Fusion GUID first. It will look for the if GUID column is available or not in our file. If it is available in our file, then it will take GUID as a unique identifier of that record. Will identify GUID to capture what record to be updated in the Fusion application for that respective business object. So it look for that. If once it's not found, then it will start looking at the Fusion surrogate ID. Fusion surrogate ID can be called as a primary key identifier of any business object. We can take ledger table. Ledger ID is the unique identifier for the ledger business object. You can take the jobs table. Job ID is the unique identifier for the jobs object, right? And if you take an employee person ID will become the person ID, or person number will become the primary key identifier for the employee business object. Take a users table. User ID will become the primary key for that user object. So that is a surrogate ID. So once the system looks at Fusion GUID first, if GUID is not found, it will look for the Fusion surrogate ID. Okay, and once Fusion surrogate ID is found, again Fusion surrogate ID, apart from the unique identification of the business object, this surrogate ID will be stored in the base table of the business object. Number one. And number two, it also be stored in the HRC integration key map table along with the GUID. And it will have the GUID, surrogate ID, and the object name. Okay, so it will be stored in the integration key map table as well. Okay, that is surrogate ID. Once surrogate ID is not found, then it will look for the next key is called source keys. Source keys are very important when we do the initial implementation of any project. That is initial implementation of Fusion, nothing but moving from where you move from source system to the Fusion applications. So what Oracle recommends is at the time of the initial implementation, you won't be having the Fusion GUID or Fusion surrogate ID. You can use source system keys to uniquely identify the record. Source system keys is a combination of source system ID and source system owner. And source system owner has to be configured in the HRC source system owner lookup. in the Fusion applications. Only when you configure that HRC source owner name in that lookup, then source system ID and source system ID, this combination can be sent in the HTML file to uniquely identify the record and insert the data into the Fusion applications. Okay, and if source keys are not available in the Fusion in that file, then it look for the final combination called user keys. User keys is actually Oracle defined keys for every business object. That key can be a single key or a combination of multiple columns, you can say, and those user keys will again uniquely identify the Fusion business object. Example, if it is a job will have multiple combination of the user keys, right? It will have the job code, set code, effective start date. Combination of these three columns will be considered as a user key to uniquely identify the job or business object. So this is a list of keys what we have seen, and we tried loading the data using user keys, we tried loading the data using source keys, and we tried loading the data using surrogate ID, and we didn't try loading data to GUID, and I have given the steps in my previous slides. You can try it out. If it won't work, let me know, I will help you out. So the list of combinations, right? So this is what we have discussed the last session. So today let's go further and talk about loading the complex business objects into the Fusion applications. Okay, so let me skip over the other slides which we have already discussed. So yeah, so loading the flex fields. Okay, so we can also use HCM data loader to load the flex fields information into the Fusion applications. Okay, so what are the flex fields? We have three kinds of flex fields in the Fusion applications. One is descriptive flex fields, second was clear flex fields, other one is extensible flex fields. Okay, and all these flex fields are supported to be loaded using HCM data loader. We can load that into the Fusion applications. Okay, to load the data into the Fusion applications, you have to follow a few syntax kind of stuff, or you have to follow a specific format to load data into the Fusion applications. Okay, let's see the I have entered through Henry Jones. We can load with any admin access who has access to the flex fields. So I'm going to my workforce. I will again go to the jobs, work structures. We have instance got changed today, and it's a little slow. I don't know, we are going to have same instance going further, but maybe by end of the today, Ravi will confirm that.
Lakshmi, just now I tried to log in this also, but same issue, authentication fail is coming.
The password got changed actually, it's not the same password.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is a little very slow today. It is 0846. I don't think he has sent any new credentials. Okay, anyway, here. So I'm going to job screen. So let's see. This is new instance. So even I don't know what setups we have it here. Let us see what flex fields we have for the jobs, and then we will see if we have any segments already defined. If not there, then we'll create one new segment, and then we will try to load data into that. Okay. So let me look for existing job, any job. So I'm trying to search for some job with name start with associate. Maybe it's a brand new Fusion instance for training. It might have some data. Yes, so we have that. So let me open any job. I just want to look at the flex fields. So how do you look at the flex fields available in this screen? So for that, I mean, typically Oracle has given a list of flex fields, a predefined list of flex fields. They have descriptive flex fields, key flex fields, and extra information flex fields. So if you have the documentation, you can refer that. If you don't have the documentation, how do you know the flex fields available in the application? So to what typically you need to do, go to the screen, whatever object you want to look at what flex fields are configured, go there and go to that drop down beside that username. Basically, it will give the list of admin activities that you can do here. If you have the proper access, like a application implementation consultant or human resource administrator or financial administrator, then typically you will have this administration link enabled with all these options. In that, we have something called highlight flex fields. If you click on highlight flex fields, the screen will highlight what flex fields are defined in this Vision application, in this instance, specific instance actually. So it will show up those it will highlight those flex fields, and where we can directly go there and do the configurations around that. Okay, but I will also open the same window in the Chrome application as well, because sometimes what I will do, I will also go here.
So if I say highlight flex fields, it will show object wise, right? Means if we are highlighting this in the manage jobs, right? It is going to show what are the flex fields available in the jobs, like that.
Absolutely.
If I click on manage positions and click on highlight flex fields, then it will show which are related to positions.
Exactly. Exactly right. Right. Okay. Go to the business object and highlight it. It will automatically highlight the respective flex fields of that business object. So yeah, it's still highlighting, still opening up. Once it highlights, typically it will highlight some settings icons here. It will highlight some settings icon, edit icons. If you have the flex fields defined, if you have any extra flex fields defined, extra information flex fields defined, they'll get highlighted here as well. I'll show you once it's just highlighted. If you go down, see here, there is a descriptive flex field here. What flex field is that? Just click on this eye icon. It will give the information of what flex fields we have on this screen, descriptive flex fields. So it says that flex field code is PR jobs underscore DFF. Flex field name is job attributes, and type is the descriptive flex fields. Application name equal to PR, that is human resources. It is a flex field description, and it doesn't have any global segments here, and doesn't have any context values here. So if some of us may know what is DFF, does anyone doesn't know what is DFF? What is flex field? Are everyone aware of that flex field concept? Okay, then I would assume that all of us are aware of it. So flex fields, as you know, we have the global segment and they have the context sensitive segment. If we could define the context sensitive segment, based on the segment, what context sensitive segment that you choose, the value segments get populated based on the context. Example, if we define a context like, if you want to define a context like this job context value is like some related to the law. Example, something specific to the legal job. If you choose context value is legal, maybe you get 1, 2, 3 segments will come up automatically because you have chosen that context. Maybe for the context, if the job context is, maybe if it is like sales, if you choose sales, then automatically if you wanted to populate only one text box saying that enter the sales percentage, something like that. So based on the context, you can define how many segments should to come up. So here in this specific jobs, it looks like as it is brand new instance, it doesn't have the global segment defined or context sensitive segments defined. So what we will do, we will define a global segment and also define a context sensitive segment, and we will try to load the data for these two values from the HDL file. That's what we are going to achieve. Okay. So for that, as nothing is defined, let's go and define the global segment and context segment here. So how do you define that? So typically Oracle has given something called settings here. If you click on the configure, descriptive flex field setting, automatically open up a new window basically. So the Mozilla, the new tab is not opening up. I'm going to do the same thing in the Chrome. Yeah, somehow a new tab should open. Whenever we click that, a new tab should open where actually it will take us to the descriptive flex field configuration page. It will go to that page and search for that per_jobs_dff descriptive flex field and open up the configuration page. That's the meaning of it actually. So I will go here and I will try to. Yeah, it's not opening up. Somewhere it was blocking. So I'm highlighting here. So the instance is very slow today. So I'm highlighting flex fields here, and I'm going to, sorry. Yeah, I just sent it. Okay, so while it is loading, let's start preparing the file as well. I'm going home. So to prepare a job file along with the specific format, what typically we need to do. So any file whenever you want to prepare out of the Fusion applications, typically what we need to know, we need to know the we need to create the metadata basically. So we need to create this format. What if we know the format? If we can download that format from the Fusion application itself, and we can modify the format. So how we can do that? I want to get a file. I want to get a file like this in this format. Maybe at least the subject, the header like this, so that I will modify whatever I need to keep, and I'll keep using that header in my subsequent file preparation. Okay. So what I need to do, go to data exchange and go to initiate data load. Is it opened up? It's not yet open. Okay. It's not yet opened up, but it is opened up. Okay, so this one is opened up. Now let me go to the descriptive flex field. So it will open up another screen here. Basically, it's actually a pop-up window. See that another window is opening here. When you click on the descriptive flex field, typically it will go and query for that descriptive flex field and get the result and make us ready to modify that if you want it to. Yeah, so it is coming here where actually you can, this is the job flex field name, and it's a descriptive flex field and flex field code. Currently deployment status is successful, is already deployed. And now what we need to do, we want to configure the new flex field, new global segment. So I'm going to edit here. Okay, now it opened. So it looks like there is no, there is a context segment, context values already defined. Some context values are already there here. We have 3 context values already available, but there's no global segments here. So what I will do, I will just add a global segment here. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so we will define, example, we want to define something called job for disabled. So whenever we create a job for disabled, an API name. So here I given a name as job for disabled, and I have given the code as job for disabled, and the API name will populate automatically. This API name is very important for us, because if you wanted to call it through web service, or if we call it through HDL, or we call it through spreadsheet data loader, we are going to use this API name for our subsequent calling procedures. So job for disabled, we have to make sure it doesn't have any spaces between that, and we have to make sure it doesn't have any special characters between that, and we have to make sure is actually a Java class will create a Java method will be created beyond the scenes. Typically Java method naming convention is, it starts with the small letter. The first word will start with small letter, and next word will start with the capital letters like this. So that's why J is small and F and D are capital. It's a naming convention. You can give any naming, no restriction in that, but make sure it doesn't have any special characters, doesn't have any spaces in the API name, because this is what we are going to use in our file creation. Okay, so what kind of thing we are going, I want to create the job for disabled, yes or no, as simple as such. So it should be character, and automatically table corner name will be created, and by default it is enabled. I want to make it enabled. So value set, so you want to create a value set which will take yes or no basically. So before creating any value set, make sure you have is there any existing standard value set which is available here to serve our purpose. Okay, so I will just go and search any value set with name as yes or no, because Oracle always provides some standard value sets, right? So let us see if we have anything with yes or no. If they don't have one, then we'll create one, but we have value set as yes or no. Yeah, let's click on OK. Right, so if you want to see what values does it have, just click on the view value set. So manage values. So manage values, and it will ask to search for the value. I will just go and search for everything, and it should show yes or no. That's our requirement. If it is behaving something different, then we'll create our own value set. And we have different value sets, right? If we have the independent value set, dependent value set, table validation value set. So we have, yeah, value is no and yes, that's what we need. And start date is 4/20 to 2015. That is okay. So yeah, let's cancel it. We got verified what values we are going to have in the value set. So what values we are going to show up in the screen from the front end. Okay, so yes or no, that's okay. So display size, I want to make it as 3, and display height, I just want to keep it by default. It's not read only. I don't need to keep any definition, instruction, help text. And you want to make this field for reporting? Yes, then make it as BA enabled so that it will show up in the reporting. You can report it. Okay, so if you want to create new one, no, I just want to save and close it. Or if you want to save it, save it. Once you save it, typically it's multi-language translation will be enabled. If you want to keep any translations basic on any language, then you have to use the translation editor to enter the respective values here. But in our case, we are just testing it. So I'm not using multi-translation here. I'm just going to save it. Save and close it. Okay. Okay, so job for disabled is created now. As prompt is job for disabled. So I think I took a note of job for disabled. Okay. Now the context value. So the context value, basically we already has the context value defined. We have, it looks like we have 3 contexts. Let's go here and see the main as context, whatever we have. So let's search for the contexts. We have 3 contexts defined as per the list of values, whatever we have seen. So we have EEO6, law, and SMCR. We have 3 contexts defined. It means if you go to the screen and if you go and try to modify the data in the screen, yeah, it is very slow today. Okay, come on. So yeah, we have 3 context segments here. Each context will have its own segments, basically. So if I click on the law and click on edit, basically this law context will have 3 segments here. See that? Market rate data source, date of data, date source of job reference code, and median. They have defined as per their own requirement. So everything is required, enabled, required. So basically if you click on the median, I'm just taking a note of it. Global segment is job for disabled, and we have context. Context. It's still segment as law, and under law we have median. I just want to copy this name. Okay. So yeah, we have median, and what does the median will take? Median will take is actually value set of 30 characters. It means it doesn't have any validation. It will just free text box, right? It's a free text box. Display size is 10 and it's 5. And okay, so it means median is actually free text. Free text up to 30 characters. And job for disabled is actually yes or no. So yes or no, that's it. So just cancel it. Does it came up? Yeah, it came up now. So if you see that in the screen, typically what happens, We have context value. We have three things here. If you click on anything, automatically it will pre-populate based on the context what you have chosen. It will pre-populate the respective fields at the bottom. It is populating now, right? Based on whatever we have seen for this law. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. All are enabled. Typically, we should have 4 fields to come up at the bottom. Basically, it's still populating to come up. Okay, so let's cancel it. It's really bad. Okay, cancel it because we are not doing any changes here. Yeah, see that? Based on the law we have chosen, we have got the 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 here. Here, based on the context what we have chosen. If you choose EO06, it will automatically populate the whatever fields we had defined in this context segment. Okay, so let's go back. We have job for disabled and yes or no. That's okay. So I just want to save and close because this is a change I have done. Save and close. See, EO6 we have only one. Okay, let me cancel it. Right, now we have the flex field created now. So what typically happens whenever the flex field is modified, does the changes show up in the application immediately? No, it won't show up. Whatever status we had before, only those status will show up in the screen. That is the reason if you see there's no global segment got added even though that we have created, right? So yeah, they're not created. So when this change will get affected into the Fusion applications, only when that you commit this data into the Fusion application. So what happens whenever we do some changes, those changes won't get defective in the application. They're actually written in a sandbox. What is a sandbox? Sandbox is nothing but in the Fusion, the Fusion, most of cloud applications, not only Fusion, even if you go to Salesforce or Workday, the same concept is there. So what they are calling is whenever you do any changes to the application, those changes won't be written into the application base tables immediately. Instead, they will be stored in a metadata file that they call it as a sandbox, where actually you can do as many changes as you want in the sandbox and keep it with you as and when you feel comfortable with that, then you can go ahead and commit it in the base tables. That's what they say. Basically, in this flex field concept, I won't exactly show you how the sandbox will work, but when I talk about the personalization, customization, I can clearly show you how the sandbox makes the developments or changes easier. Okay, they are very easy. Easily we can do the changes, and we can easily validate the changes immediately on the application without impacting to the base tables. Same thing here. Fundamentally the same concept, but here in this whatever deployment, what are the flex fields we have modified here, it won't show up in the application, but it will be stored in the metadata tables. And again, it won't impact if you go to the jobs and access the flex fields. It won't cause any impact. You can go ahead and update the changes as and when you want until you commit these changes into the base tables. Then only the new structure will show up in these applications. Okay, I'm going now and I'm going to deploy the flex field. While deploying the flex field, we have two options. One is to deploy it online as it is now, or deploy it offline. Offline in sense, if people are, yeah, it's not, I think there should be another button here. Basically, it will show up, deploy the flex field offline. Offline in sense, whenever there are no people accessing this respective flex field, then only deploy it. If someone is accessing the flex field, don't deploy it. That's the meaning of it actually. So I am deploying it online, means I just go and deploy the flex field irrespective of whoever is using it. It means while deployment happens, if someone go and access the flex field screen, I mean access to go and try to access the flex field, they will get an error message basically. Okay, so deployment is in progress, and it is actually doing validations. If you click on the deployment details, it will show up what is going to happen internally. So where the metadata is being stored, and from where the metadata is being captured, and how it is being transferred to the base tables. It's saying that entity usages process 2 of 2 because yeah, it's saying validation passed, no errors. 2 of 2 instance, we have created one global segment, and for that global segment we have added one value set. That is the reason it's saying that two entity usages got processed. Okay, so it looks like still in progress. So this is the deployment details. So it is actually deployment usage for the, this is the package. Under this package, job PUO is basically the package where actually whatever the extra job flex field details will be APIs will be called basically. So it will have the respective information. Publishing changes to metadata repository, deployment complete successfully, and it's deployed. So click OK. So typically to get these changes affected, recommendation is to log off the instance and log in the instance to see the latest changes. So now status is successful. Previously it was not deployed basically. If an error comes up, it will throw the error, and based on the error message, typically we need to correct the configuration again. So I'm going home and I will try to log out once and log in again. Let's see if Ravi has any response. Okay, so you can log in again. So, okay, so I need to prepare the file now. So before doing the validation, let me download a format of the file, and then I will modify the file to load the data into the Fusion applications. To get the format of the file, the dat file, I will just go to the data exchange and initiate data load. So here I'll search for the job. So very slow today. Okay, we have the job here. So we have the file here. So as we have added the new flex field information, what I will do, I will generate this file again. If you see that it's generated in 4.19, it's a sample file. It won't have it. If you download it, it will just have the, I'll show you. So if you see this, So it will have this, this is a sample format of all metadata: job, job evaluation, job extra info, job grade, job listed information. And as we are concerning about job, let me take this information outside. This is my job. So it's actually typically, it is a format of loading the data into the Fusion applications. If you see that job metadata, and it has some flex field information. Flex field, descriptive flex field is PR jobs DFF. If you want to load the flex field information, you have to load this. And within that, if you wanted to load EE106, then you have to give this example. If you want to load data, how I have to prepare? I have to prepare merge job. And if you want to send the flex field information, I have to send this information flex field. And if we are planning to send the EE106 segment information, then you have to keep the EE106 information here, like this. Or if you're not planning to send that, then you no need to give that. If you want to send the information, for example, law. Example, you want to send the information for, we have seen 4 context segments: EEO06, law, and one more. What is that? SMCR, right? So if you wanted to send the law information, not EEO06, typically you can send as like this. You can say as law, and you can mention as like this, law. And I just want to send out of this law, we have that market rate data source, date of data, and date source, and we have median. I don't want to send anything else. I just want to send median. So typically I need to send median as well. So that's what I want from the flex field information side. It's all the flex field data. It's all the flex field data. I don't want to send any of this flex field data. And remaining thing: job ID, job code, active status, full-time, part-time. These are all remaining fields. Whatever you wanted to, you can choose accordingly, and we can keep adding it here. That's what I do. That's what I have prepared. Okay. So now, but if you remember, we have created a global segment called job for disabled that is not showing up here. Why? The reason is the template is created on 419. It won't be showing up anywhere here.
Lakshmi.
Yeah. Yes, Narayana.
Actually, this job file which we created on the 2-3 days back before job.dat.
Correct. Can your voice is a little low. Can you speak a little bit louder?
Okay, this job file which we has been downloaded now.
Yeah.
This file which we created on that Thursday or Friday for the HCM data load.
Correct.
During that time we didn't define this one defi per job def. Those are not available.
Yes, this was, maybe we didn't create that. If you wanted to load the DFF information through our HCM data loader, right? So typically to load the data, previously what we have done, if I go back to my previous files, we were trying to load the basic information. So example, we have loaded through escape character, not escape character, maybe some job. So maybe this is a file. If you see this, so we have loaded this data here: metadata, job ID, regular, temporary, effective start date, whatever. So we have given loaded data like this. So we are just trying to load the basic data here. Now what I wanted to do, apart from this information, I also wanted to load the flex field data. How do I get the load the flex field data? Main thing, if you know how to get that, example, if you go back to our work structures, the Excel file, if you go to the Excel file again, That Excel file will give us the instructions. See, this, my system is slow. Oh, my system is slow. Right. Close the GLR file. Okay, if you go to job, then job will say how to load the data. So one of the data, if you want to load descriptive flex fields, we have to give this attribute as flex PR jobs DFF. We have to give this flex field. We haven't tried loading this one. That is the reason we just gave this flat one. If you want to load the flex fields, how do we need to load the flex fields information? That's why I was trying to say basically two things. If you know this, then you can try keeping it like this, and you can start creating the flex fields. Basically, there are a few more formatting is needed for the flex fields. So that is the reason what I did. I downloaded the sample format from the Fusion applications directly, and I'm going to use this format to create my data basically. So what I do, if I wanted to load this law context segment data for median, typically what I need to do, I need to add these details to my existing file, this one, and next one is I need to add these things like this. And here I have to prepare a data, and I have to say law and median. What I wanted to give, like something like that. The list, some data for median. So if I prepare the file like this, then automatically what happens for this job ID in this law context segment, I will get the data of jet, whatever it is. That's what we need. That's what I am trying to do using this specific file by copying the specific format from the Fusion applications. Does it understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here again, coming back to this file, if you see, I have created a global segment here, but the global segment is not showing up in this specific format. Why? The reason is the file got created in 4/19/2018. So if I generate the template again, then typically what happens, I'll get the latest format. So what I will do, I'll go and generate template again for my job. Okay, so I need to click on job. So once I create template again, then the template will give us the latest data. So if whenever you do any configurations on any of our business object, it's typically recommendable to come here, and it's going to generate a HCM data loader template file on this job. Yes, I just want that. It's another functionality you can use to get the header for the job. Basically, maybe you can use that header. Typically, if you want to create programmatically, you can refer that header format to load data into the Fusion applications. Okay, if you keep refreshing, you have to say last generated should be today's date. Till then, you have to keep refreshing.
What kind of changes here it can affect?
I have created a new global segment on the jobs descriptive flex field.
Okay.
Yeah, so to get those changes showing up on my file, I'm trying to download the template, basically sample header. To include the new field in this template, I'm trying to generate the template again from the Fusion applications. If I download it now, it will show the newly added segment in my template file.
Okay.
It's very slow today. It came up. Okay, so we got the new one now. If you see here we got the job for disabled now. So if you wanted to load the job for disabled, if you see that, if you wanted to load any, let me copy it again. If you see here to load the job, to load the data for any context sensitive, we are mentioning in that saying that per jobs DFF equal to law, or per jobs DFF equal to whatever data we are trying to load. We are just saying that this flex field name equal to that context name. It means whatever senior manager value you are going to give here, that is specific to this specific context. Coming to the job for disabled, which is a global segment, if you see that it has PER jobs DFF is equal to global data elements. That's what it is saying. That it means that whatever flex fields you are trying to load for this specific field, it is actually belongs to global data elements. It means it's a global segment. That is another thing. Another thing, if you note here, we have mentioned something called EEO06 and per jobs DFF equal to EEO06. It means what typically we are saying here is this flex field, he is actually having some context segments. Okay, that context means we have 3 context segments, but we have mentioned only EEO06 here. We don't have anything like law, PR, jobs, DFF as and law here, right? So if you see there, nowhere you can see that this kind of statement. You won't see anything like law, PR, jobs, DFF equal to law, nothing like that. Typically what happens is whenever you mention something like that, it was same name as that per jobs DFF, it means that we are going to mention some context sensitive segments in our file. That's the meaning of it. You can not only keep anything here, you can say law and you can mention law here. Anything, and you can give this data, or you can mention EO06 and give it like that, or you can give SMCR here like this. It means we are telling the system that apart from the global segments, we are also trying to send some context sensitive data. That's the meaning of this one. Okay, so now what we are trying to do, we are planning to load. We are planning to load. We are planning to load this job for disabled data, and we are planning to load median data now. Okay, so I think I have created a file already. Oh, it's updated. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I have created a file like this. So in this first format, what I'm trying to do, I am not loading anything. I am just trying to load. So what I'm trying to do, I'm actually turning job. I'm using job code, effective start date, and set code. I'm trying to use user keys in my file. So I'm going to send some job code here. So let me give some job code as rainbow CO1, and effective start date as like this, effective end date as like this, and job name as rainbow CO1, and full-time part-time is full-time. Set code is common here, and here what I'm trying to load, I'm just trying to load only the global data elements. I'm not trying to load any other information here. Okay, so what I can do here, under flex PR jobs DFF, so I have 2 options here. I can give any context segment name here if I have context segment name, or I can just take it and keep it here. Anything will work. If this DFF has a context sensitive, if you give a context sensitive name, it will take it. It won't cause any issue. Or else you can just mention the same thing like this. Flex PR jobs DFF like this. Anything will work. If you are trying to load the,
you have more than one context value.
Any value is fine. If you have 3 values, mention any value here. You can mention law, or you can mention EO6. Any active segment will work. It won't fail. Okay, this will make more sense when you try to load the context sensitive like this. So this is another example where I'm trying to load same thing, set code. I'm trying to load the flex field, and I'm trying to load the disabled value, and I'm trying to load the median here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do in the flex, in this case, as we are sending the context value here, I will send in the context value here. Then at this place, we have to mention the context value name. Okay, so if you're, that's must, right? In this case, I'm mentioning the context value name. Previous case, as we are sending only the global data elements, in place of this context, you can just keep it like this. It won't cause any problem. But if you're sending the context segment, you have to mention in this flex peer jobs DFF place, you have to mention the respective context, not necessarily respective context segment name. We have to mention the context name here. Example, let me add one more. So if I want to add SMCR, if I wanted to send SMCR context like this, okay, so SMCR some YYY, anything is okay, and that's one not necessary to be kept in double quotes. You can keep it like this. So now, if you see here, even though I'm sending senior manager, which is actually SMCR context, I can still mention the context name as law. It's all, what does it mean is we are sending some context sensitive values in our data file. That's the whole meaning of it. Okay, you can mention it. You can just mention like that. It's not, and you can use law or you can use SMCR. Anything is fine. Okay. Now what I will do, I will try to load the second file, and I don't know the value set of this one, so I will take it off, and I'm going to take it off. And I know median is a free text, so I'm just giving a text one, and job for disabled, take yes or no, we know that. And then yep, so I will keep the, I'll take out this one. I will just load this both in one file. Okay, so this is my file now. I'm assuming the API name for the context sensitive is law. So let us see. Saving it. Okay. So let's do that. Job for disabled. That's what we have. Job for disabled. Yeah. And then it was a median. It's a median. Okay. Okay. Let's do that. It's taking a long time. Yeah, that is good. Distance. Yeah. So I choosing the file, let the file come up there. Okay, so let's submit it. Let's import it first and then see whether validation is successful. So, and I will give few more exercises for you to continue. Like one is loading images. So if you wanted to load, okay, if you want to load images into the Fusion applications, I'm just importing only initially. Well, it is coming up. So to load images into the Fusion applications, typically what we need to do, process is submitted. Typically you need to prepare the worker file, because images typically go in the worker file. You have to prepare a worker file, and where actually you have to give you can give any keys here. Basically here they have given source system owner, source system ID. The same thing I have given here. Yeah. So system owner, so system ID, or any user key should be fine, along with the person number and the image name, actually. Image name and the image. Image name can be anything, whatever you wanted to give the image name, and image should be the JPG or PNG file. And where we keep the image, that image should be kept. You have to name a file called below files like this, and that below files you have to give the images like this. Give a below files. In the below file or CLOB files, it can be named any kind of two files, catalog or binary log file. Create the binary log files, and in the binary log files, mention the exact same name, whatever you are going to give for the image. An image name can be anything, and remaining all can be user keys, or these two are important, metadata and the file discriminator. And this can be user keys or source keys or anything. You can give it here. And for this person number, you are trying to load the image. This is the file name, and that file name should be available in the below files folder like this. Here we should have file name james.png, whatever. And once you have this file created and this worker created, attach these two things together in one zip file like this. If I extract the zip file here, sorry.
Is there any format and size specific?
Sorry?
Is there any format and size specific for the image?
Size specific, yes. We have, I think it is 270 KB, but I will confirm that on that part to you. Actually, I have mentioned the document ID here as well. It will actually exactly say what the size of the image should be. And you have to combine these two things together in one zip file, basically like this, worker and below file, something like this. And you have to combine these two together in one file and zip it, and then load it into the Fusion applications.
What about format? Any format it will support, or only JPG?
JPG, PNG, and GIF. I think those things supported actually. Okay, let's go back and see what is happening here. System is very slow, else I should have, my plan is to show all these things together today. Okay, I will try to send these files as well, so for you to try out. Import is successful, so let's try loading the job.
Image can be any, right? If it is a PO, we can attach PO document, something like that.
Yeah. So for the attaching document is a little bit different. That is called documents of record. Okay. So the documents of record, again, it's a discriminated document of record. Here you need to mention the document type. Basically, you should have configured that in the Fusion applications already. Type of document and document code. You can give your own document code and document name. Exactly, that document name should. Sorry. Let me take it out. Let me show you that. Let me submit it. think I already prepared one for you, basically. Yeah, this is the document type. So document type basically document, how the documents work in the Fusion application is basically in HCM. Basically, how does it work is through documents of record, basically. So first of all, what you need to know, you need to create the document type, what document type you are trying to associate to one person. So in this case, what I'm going to do for this document of record discriminator for this person, I am trying to say that I am trying to attach a document type called driving license. And I'm going to give that code as John_DL and document name as John driving license. This is my document name that I was trying to attach. So what I need to do, once I have that, then I need to create another file, document attachment discriminator, where actually I have to give the person number and document type, the driving license, and document code, whatever you have given here, document code, you have to give the document code, and data type code, what type of document you're trying to give. You're going to give a file, and then you have to mention the URL or text or file name. That is more important. And you have to mention what file name you are trying to upload, a PDF file. And what is the file name or the title for that file? The title. And again, you have to mention the file name here using the file component. Once you have this one, then you could able to upload the document into the Fusion applications automatically. And again, how do you mention this PDF? Again, you should go to the blob file or clob file like this. In this case, I have given a blob file. In that blob file, I have kept it like this. And I have to again copy these two things together and zip it into one file and load it. That is the requirement to load the documents. To load the images, it is different. To load the documents, it is different. And everything based on the file discriminator what you're trying to use.
Lakshmi, what is the difference between file and regard to file?
You're talking about URL or text file name and file?
Yes, yes.
So basically, sometimes what we give, sometimes actually we won't give the file names. We won't have the file names copied into any folder. We want to refer a file stored at some specific location. Basically, in that case, what we will do, we will just give the URL where you want to specify, where you want to look at the file. So in that case, this URL will be different and file name will be different basically. But in our case, as we are giving the file name, we are directly giving this both are actually same meaning basically.
Okay.
So for any document attachment, we should have document of record and document of attachment.
Document, yes, document of record and document attachment. That's true.
You have 2 lines then.
Yes, you should have 2 lines.
Not like John.
No, first time you're saying that what document type you're trying to upload for this person, and second time you're attaching a document for the respective document type. That's
so first record refers to the base table. Second refers to the maybe the blob. It gives blob or something, some raw data type.
Yes, yes, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so let's refresh it. Yeah, it got failed. So it got failed at the load status. So let's go and click on that messages. Let's see what went wrong. Yeah, system is this much slow, it's difficult. Value Y is not in the list. So value Y is actually we have given it for the job for disabled. So maybe in the value set, maybe yes, maybe. So we need to validate that. So let's, while it is opening up, let's go and see the value set. Yeah, we know that what went wrong. Just I'll go to setup and maintenance. Probably I need to go from here and look for the value set. Yeah, I will try to make sure tomorrow is not this much slow. Else it will be difficult to cover. Let's see if we can correct it from here. Very bad. You can go to value set screen directly from here because we know that is yes or no is only one value set is available. Just manage. Manage value sets. Yeah, so I think we can change it to yes, but let me confirm that value set value and then I'll change it accordingly. Value y is not in the list. Yeah, so try these two things by yourself and let me know if it doesn't work. Then images and documents, I will help you out. Okay. And then tomorrow we'll quickly walk through the troubleshooting and then we'll start the FBDI. Your instance is not going to run this much slow, then yeah, I think it's not preferable to continue. I will ask Ravi to get something new. Yes or no, then let us see what are the values here. Okay, so it has no and yes. Okay, so let's make it as yes then. I'll just as the load is failed, we have a chance to modify it. So let's do the modification. And some columns you cannot modify it because if there are some integrities like constraints on top of that with another column like that, then at that time when we click on edit, this will be gray out. In that case, the only way you have to do that, you have to go back to HCL file, modify that and load the file again. That's what you need to do. That's what we will do even in the case of doing the bulk error fixing as well. Okay. It has no and yes. Very slow. Okay, so if you have any questions in our current session or anything about HDL, because I think it's almost it's the last day basically for HDL, and tomorrow we'll be going into troubleshooting and FPDI. I'm going to change it as yes now, and I'm going to save and close. Now I am going to reload this record into the Fusion applications. Okay, and the same document also talks about loading the this document has the references to load the key flex field and EFF extensible flex fields, those two as well. They actually same thing. Whatever way we have loaded the descriptive flex field, it also go in the same format, exactly the same format. There's no difference in that. So this has reference to that one as well. So if anyone want to try it out and let me know. If you want any help on that, we can talk offline and get it fixed for you. Let's see that. Let me confirm the data is right. So if instance is like this tomorrow, then I may not be taking class because diagnostics troubleshooting is very important. We need to access instance very frequently. I will confirm you on that today. I'll check on this, Ravi, and then get back to you. Instead, we'll try to create a file and load it. So waiting for that. I'm keeping as yes here. I'm just saving it, and I'm going here and try to create the file again. For 22/2018 version 2, I will get this file, and then stuff depending on this, I will go to initiate data load, and I will load the file again. Sorry for the instance cause problems. It's not in my hand. We'll try from the Mozilla. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wanted to stay, you can stay. If you are getting bored, then you can leave off for the day. I will confirm about tomorrow's session by today.
Okay, thanks, Lakshmi.
Thanks, Pradeep.
Lakshmi, can you share us today's session, because I missed it in almost first part of the session.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll be sending the video to Ravi today.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Lakshmi?
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I tried to log in into video access link,
okay,
but I'm unable to log in. Also.
Oh, okay. I think for that you need to check with Ravi.
Okay, application also I'm not able to. And
Yeah, application is changed actually. That's why you're seeing the snow.
Okay.
It's no more the old instance.
Anyhow, I sent the mail to Ravi already.
Okay. Yeah, he will confirm you on that.
Okay. Thank you, Lakshmi. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still going on. Let me try out a new link. It's very bad today. Okay, so yeah, so instance is not helping us today. Okay, let me give you a last shot again. Import and load data. Ooh. So Prem and Manoj, it looks like it's still not working. So maybe I will confirm. I will try to load again sometime when our instance is coming up, and then maybe tomorrow I will let you know the status. Is it okay?
Okay, like.
Okay. Thanks, Prem.
Okay.
See you then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Have a good day. Yeah. Let's give a last try. So it's very slow, Manoj. It looks like I'll try later. Okay. Is it fine with you, Manoj? Okay. I mean, yeah, if you don't have any questions, then I am going to disconnect now and I will try later. And maybe tomorrow at the beginning, I will confirm you. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Manoj.